Hello, I'm PX Toycat, and one of the weirder things that my channel somehow became known for is running real-world government experiments inside of Minecraft. We ran a Minecraft server that was based on communism, one that was based on libertarianism, and even one that was based on democracy. I mean, based on the most democratic country that even has democratic in the name, by the way. And all of these server experiments kind of went the same way, just at different speeds and for different reasons, but it made me realize that a lot of this experiment part of it was going the same way as people realized what was happening. A lot of the, forms of government are much harder to hold in a Minecraft world, and that's why I figured to kind of lay back on it for a while, until I was looking up niche political ideologies, as you do, and I found one called anarcho-monarchism that obviously was a bit of a joke. It's used online, isn't really held by many people seriously, but I realized this is one ideology that can't really exist in the real world, but can perfectly exist inside of Minecraft, because we can enforce an anarchic Minecraft server using ourselves as the monarch, and the monarch will only exist in this case to prevent any other monarchy forming, prevent any other government forming, and anyone who tries to do so will be banned. The only rule on this server is you cannot establish any form of government. Everything must be wild, must be insane, and yeah, unless you literally hack to make yourself a god, or you become a government via democratic, legitimate or non-legitimate means, you will be kicked regardlessly, because that's the purple part of this banner, and the yellow part is the anarchism, which we're going to be enforcing ourselves, and which I'm looking forward to seeing how people react to. So we've got ourselves another old style world, 256 by 256, and there are only really two key tenets to how this is going to work. The yellow symbolizes the anarchism, everything is going to be anything goes outside of hacking and forming a government, and then the purple is going to be the monarchism, that's going to be me, I'm going to be the monarch of the server, and I'm going to show up every now and then, do absolutely nothing to intervene with people's problems, unless it is related to hacking or people forming their own government. Anyone tries to form a government, I'm going to kick them out because I'm using the purple to enforce the yellow, which again, it's a meme in real life because you wouldn't have a monarch just to enforce the lack of monarchs in the world. But you know what, we can actually do so on the Minecraft server just for the experiment and just for the fun joke. And you know what, we're making a meme ideology into real life. What are you going to do about it, internet? But with that said, let's invite people to the server and let's get this one going, shall we? I am super curious about this one just because of the fact that we have a Minecraft village here that I'm really hoping survives for more than a day on this server. I'm not hopeful given the way these things tend to go, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one ends up. But yeah, the key difference in this server is we are going to be enforcing the no hacking thing extra stringently, because there are some people who are like, haha, I can hack and it'll be in a video. The goal here is like, if someone hacks, we just roll back the servers before they did, ban them, and then if we have to do that a ridiculous number of times, we have to do it a ridiculous number of times. And also the other thing is this experiment is probably going to run a little bit longer than normal because it's happening over the festive period when, things are lazy anyway. So we'll see what happens with longer gaps between when we check out the server, with more people playing over Christmas, which should make them more festive, and other things of that nature. Also, this bug has happened to us already. So having a village on a seed which is already so small, 256 by 256, is already quite an impressive thing, I would say. But here's the interesting thing, this world also has 2 horses. That's enough to breed with, technically speaking. We've never had so much wildlife in a old style world in a server. But it means that people can breed the horses, and in theory, we could have a nice cooperative world where even though there's no incentive, people decide to breed horses and everyone gets the right horses around the world. So the realm title is just anarchy, and apparently people have assumed that therefore they're anarcho-communists, which is a form of communism that's entirely anarchy-based. As long as they don't label a leader, I guess that's okay. But the moment we find a single leader or leader-like figure, you better believe they're getting banned for this stuff. Okay, so I see a sign saying the laws created by those in power right now, so I'm going to quickly ask who's in power right here, because it seems as though 2 people are directly taking charge of this server, it seems. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but both of them responded they're in charge of a world where there is clearly meant to be pure anarchy. No, like leadership figures of any form. We're gonna kick the people who think they have so much power with their diamond armor. If I didn't see this myself, I would assume this was like a chunk hack, but someone is just destroying a little chunk of their own right here. And I can't tell if that's beautiful or ridiculous, but I love looking at it regardless, so we'll leave them be for now. Oh, there's 2 of them working on it together. How cute. Oh no, one of them's just trying to escape the other one. Again, we're not going to intervene in that one. It's very mean of one of the players, but we won't intervene. It's mean, but we won't intervene. That is the slogan of anarchism. See, WindTurtle18 right here, he's living the dream that you want in an anarchy server. No one's going to try and tell you what to do. No one's going to try and enforce rules on you. You can just make your own little nice shack in the middle of the woods. Have a home sweet home, have a nice little farm with one potato in it apparently, and then have a giant toy cat statue facing your house. It's also hard not to be curious about what under construction means in this case. I'm gonna log out here, and then we're gonna check out back in like some number of days, and see if the construction really ever gets finished. Hopping back on 12 hours later, it reveals that the whole world seems to have been covered in snow, which is weird. I mean, the whole world isn't a snowy biome, which means people must have made these snow tiles themselves just to cover the world in, which I'm not sure I understand. Also, come on guys. They made a lot of command block minecarts. The thing I don't understand is how exactly they did this. Can you see how there's just floating purple blobs in the sea? I don't know how this is possible. So this is where I use my power off the Monarch role, and I just say, hey, no hacking allowed, and I use the most powerful ability the Monarch has available. By the way, there's people literally flying around. You shouldn't have Elytras here, so, you know, that's also a thing. By the way, as well as command block minecarts, as well as those floating blocks, people literally flying around with enchanted diamond armor. There's also a mega beacon, I should say. All the beacons activated at once at spawn, and I'm just saying, like, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. So this, the fact that this happened in 12 hours, despite the fact that I literally said this would happen and I would, you know, like undo it immediately, this is kind of wacky to me, like the level that the server's gotten to. But you know, this is where I can use my extreme monarchy powers, because you know, this might be an anarchy server, but it's also got some monarchy going on, and I can use my absolute power here that I haven't used on previous servers, because not only am I going to ban everyone here, like look at these guys, you've got enchanted diamond armor, if you took it from someone and you shouldn't have, or you know, you made it yourself, and wait, that's a ban for all of you in this server right now. But also, as well as that, I'm going to roll back the server, and we're going to remove all the things they've done, ban them, and take away the things they've done. And then we can roll back the server to 13 hours ago before any of that stuff happened, and we can entirely undo the damage they did. This is the weirdest realm glitch I've ever seen. Somehow everything rolled back correctly, except the ghasts, which did not roll back correctly in the slightest, and which do not work correctly in this large of a number apparently. It's pretty easy to fix this one though. You just set the game to peaceful, and then you wait a few seconds. And just like that, all of the people hacking because they wanted to be in a YouTube video or to mess up the experiment or whatever else, all of their, 12 hours of work, it was actually 13, has actually been wiped out in literally just a few instants. That is the power of the absolute monarchy on this server. You can do whatever you want on this server, anything absolutely you like, but as soon as you hack, as soon as you open the other dimensions or get clearly hacked stuff, that's when I'll use the most powerful, tool that any ruler really has available, the most terrifying tool in my opinion, which is the ability to just delete people from existence. Not just ban you from re-entering, not just, bar you from entry. That's a thing that a lot of places still have, like you can get barred from a restaurant or a pub or a club, or you can get barred from a lot of places if you do something wrong. But one of the things we can't do as human rulers, one of the powers that's just too much for even the most gracious of rulers to have, is to literally delete people's history. Because to me, that's one of the terrifying bits of a Stalinist or a Maoist regime. One of the absolute power things is the fact that if you fall out of favor with them, they know they can delete you from existence. And it happens to a lot of people. If you look up famous photographs from that era, you can see how so many people would just, famous photographs would be altered to remove people who did things that weren't in the favor of the state. And in this case, the favor of the state is making an orderly Minecraft world, an orderly, anarchic Minecraft world, which totally makes sense, trust me. Which is why we're going to threaten the first person to rejoin the server, to send the message to their friends. You saw what happened here, brother, and you want to make sure it doesn't happen to your friends. I left it another 2 hours, and you can already see the hacking has literally gone to the exact same level already. You can see how there's beacons at spawn again. This time it's covered, if nothing else. You can see how there's end crystals all over the world. And you can also see these guys just running around and enchant. Oh, this diamond armor could be legit, but the Elytras I've seen running around, those are a bit silly. How did they even get end crystals to appear above nothing? I genuinely don't know. I would love to know that fact. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to use our powers of absolute monarchy, and we're going to slam down the ban hammer again. So of course we give them a block. We give anyone else around here that has anything suspicious a block as well. And then you know what we do? And we can start this again, and I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to continue using my absolute power here to ensure that we have a world where anyone can do anything they want nicely. I'm using my absolute authority to enforce the individual right to do whatever they want. I'm taking away people's rights to give people their rights, which is totally a working system that genuinely might fix the problem that we have here of like, oh yeah, there's such a big problem where a few people want to hack knowing it's going to be a YouTube thing, want to ruin the experience for everyone else. So by taking away everyone's rights slightly, we can give them back immediately unless they don't deserve them to be given back. Another 12 hours and somehow another huge batch of hacking. Again, this is something that usually happens at some point during the experiment every single time we run one of these. But here's the cool thing. Using our extreme powers, we can say no to giant end portals made at Bedrock for ridiculous reasons I can't explain. Is that bat going to fall into the end? We can say no to these sorts of things because we have the absolute authority to say, oh yeah, all of this work that was done where the hackers, all of this continuity, we'll roll it back again. It has now been almost 4 days, and in those past 4 days, the number of rollbacks have been so serious that we've had about half an hour of progress overall. The world still looks like this. There's still someone getting their first wood blocks from a tree that still exists, because that's how little progress has been made. But again, the things we must do, to make anarchy possible, we need to have, extreme power, and so far, it is working in big air quotes. Not real working, but it's working, technically. Let's see if we can actually get people to respect the rules this time, though, which, I mean, I'm starting to think is not humanly possible. Okay, for the first stretch of 6 hours in a row, we haven't seen hacking, which is nice. So as you can see, one of the sad things, though, is all of the animals have been killed, besides this lone chicken. All the crops have been taken, but the upside is we're actually seeing some nice development in the village. I think there's going to be like a fortified wall around these 3 houses. Maybe the plans are to breed villagers, or maybe they're just all gone, so that's not possible. I'm not sure what the end thing will be here, but it's pretty cool that we're seeing some actual development happen, and where it's also pretty cool that my flag hasn't been destroyed. So people love anarcho-monarchism. It seems the flag is really the one key difference that's made this go better, is the only conclusion I can draw from this. Another few hours later, and this wonderful little, community that was starting to form has been destroyed, it looks like. I'd guess with explosives, but this could be mined by hand. We don't know for sure. But you can see how in the, hole that has been formed, actually, we do have a lot of progress coming out of the server. We do have some fairly nice builds coming along, including a lot of suspiciously communist-looking flags, in my opinion. But you can see looking around here like, oh yeah, there's a really nice little spawn house for everyone to join in and look at, even with a mailbox, by the way. Isn't that adorable? But yeah, you can see how like things are actually getting built, including something I find incredible. This little manga cube over here. It's a build I mentioned as like a build you shouldn't even try because it's just too, complex and ridiculous, and it still seems to be happening, which is wonderful. Also, I hate to do this because the person's doing Toy Cat is yes, but there's a guy with obsidian, which is an absurdly hard to come across block naturally, with a totem of undying, something he couldn't have got naturally, and an elytra, and he's just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. The communist what even is this? I'm just gonna ban him real quick. So now it will forever say, Toy Cat is yee. Anyway, so moving on from here, you can see how there's a few nice things coming about, like this staircase in the mountain, like this little, kind of glass enclosed little box right here, and it all seems to be vaguely communist-y in a way I'm not sure I agree with, but I think will probably change now we ban the communist wing. It's a widely known fact. Communists hate freedom and communists hate kings. In fact, they go a very far way out of their way to behead kings in most cases. Fun fact, want to know why Russia doesn't have kings anymore? All of them, every single descendant of the royal family, all killed. So fun fact, communism, it is wonderful. Unless you like these two things, which on this server, sadly we do. By the way, one of the extreme overreaches of power that I have on this server, where I allow anyone to do anything they want and where there is no power, those two ideas are definitely not conflicting with each other, but someone actually tried to warn their friends saying, Toy Cat, be careful, Toy Cat's banned wing. He said it really awfully, but as a result, I've now banned the person they were warning, because if they were warning them, they were probably doing something suspicious, potentially warranting that ban, is my theory. It might not be a good theory, but again, for the greater good. Do you know what, actually, should we ban the guy that warned him about it too? Because if he knew about the dodgy, suspicious things and didn't tell me, that's basically a crime against the royals, and, as a server committed to freedom, I feel like it's a good idea to get rid of him as well. Or he can get rid of himself by death by grapple, I guess. I would like to remind everyone, we're only using our powers to ensure absolute freedom because this server has the most freedom of any Minecraft server. True freedom for everyone, enforced with absolute power. Nothing's gonna go wrong, and everything is entirely above board. By the way, I just spotted someone called Communist Wing, same person with the same flag design even, here in the end with an elytra, and I'm just saying, obvious evasion of bans. If this was pure anarchy, we'd have to let him stay here. But you know what we have? We have the absolute authority to stop that being the case. Look at him, by the way, down there. He literally has a totem of undying, and that is why he is no longer on the server. So we've saved the server from another hacker, and as you can see, it's a wonderful use of our Monarch ability. But here's the thing about that, right? I feel like, you know, as well as banning the person himself, the hacker, bringing all the woes to the server, maybe we should also ban people who suggest that, you know, the things he says are alright. Mr. Cat must meow after all, which is exactly what he said. Maybe, just maybe, the sympathizers should be banned as well. Oh no, I tripped and I slipped on the ban button and now they're gone from the server. You know, maybe be, you know, a little bit, you know, nicer towards the person who has absolute power, and then you won't have to leave. Look, trust me, we're definitely not increasing the number of reasons we'll ban people, and we're definitely not starting to come up with mildly petty reasons for doing so. You know, this isn't an overreach of our power, it's exactly the same as it's always been. What isn't the exact same as it's always been, though, is this server right here, because as you can see, things have been going pretty good over the last day or so. You can see how, like, some houses have been built suspiciously close to each other, but, you know, at least they look somewhat nice. I mean, at least this was a design that someone tried. I think it looks terrible, but, you know, it's fine. No one can tell you what you can and cannot build after all. We've got a few houses over here using the same base vanilla ingredients that actually mean people are on a fair footing rather than people immediately jumping to using diamond blocks and elytras and all those sorts of things. But yeah, the server is making progress, houses are being built, the terrain is being altered and built upon, and you're starting to see like some nice projects come out of the corners of the world. Like, look at this. This house right here, either it's in progress or it was partially destroyed. It's never really too easy to tell which when you're on a server like this one, but then also look at this. Toy cat, arse, and then 2 hearts next to it. If this isn't modern art, I don't know what is. Like, for real, doing this in vanilla takes a lot of redstone, which you can naturally find, but someone has to go through a lot of effort just to let people know this whole thing. And I think that's wonderful. Personally. Also, the last little thing I just wanted to mention is someone came to the corner of the world, started a little house that says Toy Cat was not here, and it's kind of cute in my opinion that they've managed to do that. So yeah, all in all, this server's going well, and the reason it's going well is because I keep expanding how many, you know, like, Monarch-like powers I use, and expanding the number of people that I'll ban, because again, you know, you can do whatever you want this server, there's no rules, there's no punishments, except the punishments that do exist, which, you know, are only growing very slowly. Everyone's still having a good time though. So I'm gonna log out of the server standing right here. Let's see what it looks like when I log back in about 24 hours. Okay, so this is day 2 of the realm, although it's actually day 6, but you know what, we've had to reset a lot of days, including another one today, by the way, or another one yesterday, I should say, to make it to today. But yeah, the interesting thing about this realm is just how much slower it moves. Part of that's probably because a lot of the progress is being reset, but even 2 days in, you can see how most of the terrain is really the same. There's some really cool things that have been done, like I love the way this is dug into the mountain. I love that someone attempted to make a manga cube, and then someone clearly got frustrated and turned it into their base instead, and it looks rough, but you know, there was attempt to do cool things here. I love how someone's attempted to make this land super flat, but you can see how most of the world is stayed the same, and because all the, you know, again, all the hackers have been banned and all of the hacks have been rolled back for the most part that we know of. I'm sure something might have slipped through that we just can't see, but you know, the fact that it's not visible means that the only types of griefing you see is when people just destroy things by hand, and that leads to a much more balanced world, but it also feels a lot more boring that we've had, you know, literally 2 days of people doing crazy stuff, and we've ended up with not a huge amount of change, less than you would expect. We're seeing cool things here and there, like this platform. I was excited to see where this was going to go, but it went nowhere over that time, apparently, and I'm very curious as to how the progress is so slow, but yeah. Maybe everyone's so scared of a, like, big revolution happening that they just play the server and they don't bother building stuff because they think it'll be destroyed. So the highest extent of the builds we see are things like this shack right here. It has 2 windows, a door, a chest, and a furnace. Also, we have someone who's impersonating me because it says thank you for the food - Toycat. Although they're impersonating me for a good cause, so I'll just pretend that they're not for now, I guess. But yeah, weird world with very understated things so far. But what I am most excited about is perhaps the most ambitious project on the server, which is this thing right here. As you can see, this person called Flaren has made the House of Trans Rights, apparently. But as you can see, they've got this cute little overlook over the mountain. They've got a huge castle that is covering the entire length of it. This is something I'm excited to see. There's a person here eating meat at the slowest rate who's just proved that they're hacking by giving me all of these diamond blocks. Another day, another set of Minecraft hackers who are banned. And another reset we have to do to the realm, because how do we even get to the end so frequently? How do people do this so ridiculously often? Every time we come here, we have to... Oh, this is nice at least. I mean, they might be hacking, but at least they're honoring the yesness of me. But again, every time we see stuff like this, it's ridiculous, and we ban everyone who's in the end, and we obviously reset the realm to the point where this didn't happen. Okay, so it's day 3, and although there aren't people hacking to destroy the realm anymore, there are people very clearly hacking in spite of the rules to make things like beacons, which shouldn't be naturally obtainable, to make things like this many diamond blocks, and you can even see if you look around the world, there's literally people flying around with elytras like, haha, no, these are legit survival elytras I totally made in this world that doesn't have an end. Like, there's a guy down here, you can see, literally just flying around the world like this, like, oh yeah, that's not what hacking is in the slightest, no. Same with this person right here. I mean, like, another person just showed up, not only with an elytra, but a Total Undying, another ban. Is every single person on this server wearing a goddamn elytra? Well, guess what? Every single person on the server gets banned. You know what? I gave you your freedom, and you know what you're doing with it? Every single one of them. Oh man, this guy right here I recognize as like a channel member and everything.
You were the chosen one who said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force!
But you know what? The rules apply even to the people with the emeralds and stuff. Oh, he did just try to bribe me. That should probably be added to the list of crimes. I'm just saying, even when we gave people freedom and even when we removed the hackers from the world, people were just as willing to profit from the hackers' stuff, or, you know, maybe they were doing it themselves. It's hard to say for sure, but we gave people freedom, and you know what they did with it? They exclusively are using it to break rules. You can see here even, there's an ender chest, it's gone. There's a shulker box, which people use for duplicating, it's gone as well. All that stuff, it's gonna be burned in a fire, because all hacking-based things are gonna be purged from the realm, and I'm thinking, you know what, honestly, if you want to enforce this, maybe we have to go a little looser on this, you know? Maybe absolute freedom shouldn't be freedom to do anything besides hack. Maybe we should be a little bit more careful of who we watch and what they should do. That's right, everyone. Hear me out a little bit. You can see how the level of destruction we're seeing right here is clearly to a level where even the people who seem to be most honest might not necessarily be in it. We don't know who is playing by the rules and who's making explosions, which shouldn't be easy to do legitimately. Again, we can assume it's either hacking or there's some, you know, even sketchier stuff going on. Like, you can even see how literally the spawn of this area was clearly flattened at some point and re-uncovered, which could have been done legitimately, you know, just people using their full freedom, but I think comes under the hacking rule, which means it's under our monarchy. So what I'm going to say right now is, you know, to really enforce the no hacking rule, maybe we have to increase the powers of the monarch a little bit. I mean, true anarcho-monarchism would just be the monarch enforcing the most basic rules to allow anarchy to exist, but maybe, you know, we have full anarchy, of course, except it's not real full anarchy, because we just, you know, slowly have a few more rules. If we don't prevent people from breaking rules before they break them, then that's, you know, gonna allow the anarchy to be broken. So really it's gonna be a great idea for us to go ahead and to ban anyone who, you know, seems like they're about to break rules or seems like they might have done so in the past. Like this guy right here with the diamond armor and the elytra, another great example of like, you know what, you probably did something bad at some point. And I'm not saying that it's going to be a crime not to worship Toy Cat like this sign right here says, I'm just going to say anyone who isn't doing so is going to look a bit more suspicious and might come, you know, under a little bit of a ban hammer. Like this guy, he's farming right now, but does he worship Toy Cat? See, a nice yes from the man of the diamond armor reassures me that he's an upstanding citizen and that he is worthy of the freedom that he has. This guy of the fireworks, who is trying to distract the camera, again, to me, indicates for someone who might be suspicious later. Let's just get rid of them now, make it easy. And we made them magically disappear, and just like that, the realm is a safer place so that everyone can have more anarchy. That's right, by enforcing the monarchism part of this, by having more arbitrary rules and ability to enforce them with no checks and balances whatsoever, really we're enforcing the anarchy spirit of the realm. Look how cool and wonderful things are going here. Did you see this little island up there, by the way? Only possible because of anarchy, although actually it's built using end island blocks, so we're gonna have to go work that out. But besides that, pretty great, right? Another day, another set of bans for Totem of Undying Elytra combos. So the hackers are banned, and now we've gotten rid of their ridiculous items, and we've rolled back the server to before all of the hacked stuff. And let me show you what's been happening over the last couple of days, and it's quite interesting to look at, to say the least in my opinion, because the entirety of the spawn area has been covered up, so that people spawn up here rather than down there, because Minecraft tries to spawn you on the highest available block, even if that block is a random wood platform, saying Toycat is yes. Because, yeah, it seems though people have been really, really culty up here, even though there is still a number of people hacking who we're banning on a regular basis, as you can see already and have seen. The number of people who have been really, really cultish about this, like Kitty Boy 2019, who is literally my skin. The fact that we have a little church of Toy Cat over here, you know, that's a T for Toy Cat right there, as you can see. But the fact that we've got all these ridiculous things going on, even a big worship of communism, it seems, or Council of Toy Cat, but also beans. I mean, in the last couple of days, I did upload a video where Mojang confirmed that beans aren't coming to the game, so you can maybe see how, like, huh, okay then, I guess they really like me. And beans. But you can see just how impressive the working together has gone on this server, using the resources that they're actually meant to. Again, mostly wood, a little bit of sandstone in the case of this little ocelot over here, but the resources that are actually meant to be used are actually going quite well. There's a source of food, there's a source of actual communal stuff going on right here, even some tree farm stuff going on. It's pretty darn great. And although I'm sad that the Manga Cube never got finished, again, this was like one of those cool projects I was looking forward to seeing finished. However, what you can see in the rest of the realm is there is small but subtle progress going on. Again, because there's less needless destruction going on right here, more, you know, cool little individual projects are happening. Like this guy's house over here is finally finished. It took, I don't know how many days that actually was. You know, it's probably like over a week and a half in real time, but this house is finished and it looks pretty good for a realm house. And although it's sad that it looks like the Toy Cat's Yes Heart has been replaced slightly with TNT. Again, things are looking up for the most part in this realm. Most of the destruction has led way for actual innovation. I didn't know you could make... I didn't know crafting tables looked like this when you got loads of them. But new texture, I guess. I generally didn't know you could do that. That's such a cool little texture use. What I mostly find impressive about this server, though, is the fact that there seems to be this continual desire to kind of like restart civilization. And again, because of the removal of hackers, which we don't usually do. I mean, like, if they break something, it's hard to like catch them and roll it back. But because we haven't been doing it for so long, it's pretty easy to use my excessive powers to do that. So I'm just saying, look, like this guy right here, for instance, like, he spawned in. He had nothing literally 30 seconds ago when I was talking about that, and already has got diamond stuff and elytra. Oh yeah, what a legit elytra that is, Mr. Kitty Boy. Okay, so I banned that guy, but look at this person's adorable little profile picture. I wanna make them a mod. I think I can do that. Yeah, Woody Kitty 567. Nice username. But you can see how the truly free society seems to devolve into anarchy and chaos a lot more than a society where people are worshipping Toy Cat. And I'm just saying, that's why we need to really drive home the fact that there is a monarch, and maybe we need to increase the powers just a little bit, even more, you know? Right now, we're banning people left and right. Right now, we're banning people who even look suspicious, but maybe we should ban people who aren't worshipping Toy Cat, because if they're not worshipping me, are they really committed to the idea of anarchy? I don't think we can say they are, so... Minecraft just crashed. Something about the world just crashed. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. But it's the sort of thing we need to be cracking down on. I'm just saying, the person who gave me some steaks, probably loyal, you know? Maybe that diamond arm they have is less suspicious now that they want to help me out so much. Whereas maybe this guy who has nothing to offer me, maybe he looks more suspicious. I mean, look at that skin. Why is it so bright green? Why you got one of those capes, eh, buddy? You sure you don't want to be contributing to the wonderful little Toy Cat society we built? See, I suggested a royal palace, but someone else said that a shrine would be great as well. And you know what? This Adele guy, you know, they clearly get it. They clearly understand how to do freedom right. I mean, look at this right here. This is a man who understands what to give to his king. Yeah, you better believe I'm the one with the enchanted diamond armor now. I mean, it looks slightly... It's actually not fully suspicious. This was enchanted legitimately because of the weird enchantments. But yeah, it's my stuff now. Thank you, Mr. ADL. Some would say I'm abusing the position as king that was meant to be only to enforce the rules of anarchy, but I feel like everyone here kind of agrees that we're getting a better society, you know, without sacrificing too much freedom. Is it real freedom if you don't use it to worship your king? I reckon not. Just like in real life, you know, we gave someone absolutely unlimited powers and trusted that they would be a good person, and we proved that that's not the right way to do things because, you know, it's always going to be tempting to use those powers to do just something a little bit more, and you know what? We're going to be doing a lot more, and you're going to see it soon. By limiting people's freedom and really enforcing the banhammer, we've created a beautiful society. I mean, already the big circle where everyone was worshipping the things, this was already pretty great, but you can see how since then, this basic pattern has been repeated in a really beautiful way. There's a big circle above the spawn where everyone does spawn in, and then there's little circles after that where things like this little temple have been built with a questionable number of diamonds, I do have to say. We're gonna have to assume they came from somewhere potentially, but they're being used to honor Toy Cat. I mean, look at this beautiful house right here. Same with this wonderful church. Same with the expansion we're seeing everywhere. The circular kind of format of a world above a world is something that is creating a really cool, look at this Anarchy logo right here, is creating a really wonderful world that kind of fits one of my like views of Utopia, my visions of Utopia, where like there's this like above world where all the cool stuff is, and then there's the pure anarchy down there if you want it. There's the really nicely put together, you know, like proper surface up here, and then if you want to go down to the subsurface and you want to live in insanity, that is still entirely possible. And one of my favorite things about this whole thing is the fact that all of this time later, despite the fact that we've temporarily suspended, you know, true anarchy, we'd have to curtail some of the freedoms, but we're still calling it anarchy. Even the original flag that I built, the purple pit has remained, the yellow bit has been destroyed, and if that isn't a beautiful rendition of what's happening over the rest of the realm, I don't know what is. Because yeah, everything around here is actually going surprisingly nicely. And just like in any good free society, we've got a toll bridge as well, apparently. That is really wacky that someone made a little you know, bridge and is charging access to it. But that is a thing you can see on this realm and only here. Like any good anarchy server, there are some parts of the world that are destroyed, but the thing I'm loving is the dedication towards the cause. By throwing down the banhammer so frequently, by maybe extending the reasons we used it, we create cool, you know, like kind of commitments to anarchy, like this giant logo built out of stone and wood. I love the way this looks. This is such a fun little thing that someone managed to make on a server like this. I absolutely love that, and yeah, you can really see how this world is coming together in its own fun little way. And that is why this monarchical anarchy society is working so well. And yeah, we've got a couple of days left to go, but I really am super hopeful we're gonna end up with even better stuff in that time. And you know, with my extreme powers, we can basically guarantee that's what happens. I've never seen this on a realm before, but like villagers just spawned in and they're wrecking everyone midway through their worship. It's kind of wacky. Also, sadly, our main man Adele has broken the main rule of total undying and elytra, and now he's fixed it. You know what, usually we ban people, but this guy, he seems like he's repented for his sins. He seems pretty loyal to the cause, which is why instead of a ban, we'll let him off with a simple murder. Oh my god, he had so much hack stuff. Okay, this guy ran off with all hack stuff. This guy is not only using hack stuff, but he's also, at the same time, committing a crime against the loyal Toy Cat follower. I feel like that has to be a pretty instant ban, right? I mean, how can you be loyal to the, you know, the anarchy part of the realm if you're not loyal to the monarchy part of the realm? It's a key factor right here. Honestly, the policy of banning people on a super regular basis, especially for behavior like this, is a pretty good idea. Honestly, I think one of the things that's keeping this server the healthiest is the regular amount of bans we're doing. I mean, at this point, people literally, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just like, oh, I have all this hacked stuff on me that I'm going to give to you. And it's like, die, and also, you know, we're also going to go ahead and we're going to make sure we ban them as well. This guy's literally running away from us. This is what we need. We need people to genuinely fear us. We need people to fear everything about us. And we need them to really genuinely worry for their lives, or they're not going to stay in line. Again, the thing we've learned right here on this very much monarchical server with something about anarchy in there too. But you know, it's mostly about the monarchy at this point. If you want people to respect you, they need to fear you. And that's why we're bringing the fear of death into everyone. We want people to be very confused as to what's going on. And as soon as they have a single hacked item, we kill them if we can get close enough, or we ban them if we can't. An incidental aside of all the people we're kicking is it allows more people to actually join the realm, which means more people get to be here, which people see as a good thing. So yeah, every ban we do is not only for the good of the realm, it's for the good of the people joining. This is my favorite thing about being, you know, in charge of something, absolutely, is you can do lots of, you know, very concerning things by themselves, but as long as you attach them to the condition that like, oh yeah, there's some benefit for someone, you can get a way of doing it a lot more. So some people would probably go ahead and say that like getting everyone to worship you under your little altar, probably going a bit far, but you know what, we need to get rid of all these hacked items, and that's why we're lighting a fire, and we're going to encourage everyone to put their stuff in the fire. We're going to take all this hacked equipment, which, you know, there's just far too much of it, and we're going to throw it right in that fire. This is the thing that everyone has to do. We have to purge the banned items. Anyone who doesn't find items that are banned to throw in the fire, Also, look at this Elytra. Like, why do people even hack in stuff like this? I genuinely would like to know sometime. But, yeah, we take all the ridiculously hacked stuff and we throw it in the fire. Man, look at that. Efficiency 32,767. But we throw all this hacked stuff in the fire and we encourage everyone else to do the same. People like to say that anarcho-monarchism is a real meme of an ideology. But I mean, I'm just saying, look at this right here, look at this society, and you can see how by just focusing a little bit more on the purple part of it than the yellow part of it, you know, by focusing on the monarchy more than the anarchy, what you're going to end up with is a server that actually works way better than everything else. I'm going to leave my very dedicated followers for another few hours. You know, this guy's going to die. What do you have on you, sir? My God, these people have far too much. But yeah, the thing that we've really learned right here is that you can have absolute freedom on a server as long as you make sure that freedom comes second to absolute control. You need some clear message from everyone that, hey, the most powerful thing that can happen to anyone, an absolute ban from the server, as well as the taking away of their stuff, as well as, because of this ridiculous axe, as well as the instant death of themselves and anything that's on them. Because we have access to these powers, and because we're using them for the purpose of enforcing freedom, this is how you get true freedom. True freedom can only be found on the way to true repression. I'm just saying, if this Minecraft server is anything to go on, then the true way to get to absolute freedom is via absolute repression, and that is kind of sad on the surface, but if these are the results that work, these are the results that work. If you want to have absolute freedom, you need absolute repression, and you better believe I'm going to be doing a bunch of that in today's video. I'm going to allow this server to run until tomorrow now, until about 12 hours from now. It's midnight as I record this, because I want it to run for the full 7 days that we usually do for these experiments. Technically speaking, that's 7 days because of rollbacks has taken, I think, almost 3 weeks now, but you know what? It was worth it for the beauty that is this world. Let's just see what happens over the next 12 hours. And then let's do a full world tour. So 1 week later, I think we genuinely have managed to create the most successful realm so far, and the thing that led to it was not the, you know, like the rules that people always suggest. Instead, it was another silly ideology, but one that really fits in Minecraft. The idea of using absolute power, the idea of using extreme power, you know, to enforce the idea of freedom was actually a really good one. Slowly removing the freedom as people started to use that to, you know, fight against the power was another stroke of genius, because it's led us with a world where people are still technically choosing things all the time. I mean, I'm too lazy to decide what every person should do. I'm not micromanaging the world perfectly, but what you're seeing instead is you're seeing a world where people can do whatever they want, but they realize it's the best thing to do something productive. I mean, once you realize the extreme hacking and the rollbacks and, you know, just the destruction of progress that happens if you try to hack or grief or anything like that, you see that most people aren't so inclined. Even at the points where, like, we pretty much abandoned the server for a little bit, which I'll admit we did, you can see how, like, the worst people do, because they're doing it by hand, because hacking is, you know, rolled back. You can see how, like, oh yeah, some people try to destroy a few blocks here or a few blocks there, but the general structure of everything is really well placed. Again, the general rule of the realms is that towards the end of the week, people just start getting really wacky and start destroying things, and here you can see that things are a bit messed up. You know, this is people's best effort, but it's still a functioning, good-looking realm, in my opinion, with a really cool system of this giant circle with the little circles coming up it. I absolutely love the kind of layout that came right here, and again, it came without any central planning, because the only central planning that happened here was just, hey, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna, you know, bring the fear of death into people every now and then, and I'm gonna say you can go be as free as you like, despite giving them the fear of death, and telling them that that's very not true. The entire hypocritism of the of this whole thing is great. Also, look, got destroyed and then rolled back, thank God. See, people realize, like, you want to destroy things, it's not going to work. People know that, and as a result, you get more productive lives as a result. However, we're not just here to look at the amazing spawn build, we're here to look at everything else that happened in the realm over the past week, and it's funny, because some of the things from the very first day pretty much stuck for the whole week. Like, don't ask me how, but this bridge that you had to pay a toll to cross somehow survived a week. Don't ask me how, because I genuinely couldn't tell you, but this little house over here not only survived the whole week, but got better pretty much every single day. Every time we've looked at this, it's gotten slightly better. They've got a fox and a lead somehow. I don't know how that's possible. I guess there's probably a tiger biome somewhere around here, and all you need is slimes and string. It seems like it should be hacked, even though I know it's not, to have this cute little fox right here, but someone has, you know, actually managed to make a functioning house that has survived this entire week. Same with the guy who started next to them. Boiled ice. I mean, if you boil ice, you get water. So Water's house over here, as you can see, it's managed to survive this whole time. There is this clear, like, place that everyone's working on together, but at the same time, there's this anarchy, you know, this freedom, absolute freedom, this anarchy, this whatever you want to call it area down below, where people are actually making houses, and those houses aren't just being immediately griefed, which is amazing. Now, sure, I'll admit as freely as anyone else that there are some weird and concerning things around here. I mean, someone put yes in the water that is otherwise pretty devoid of any life or anything. The entire natural terrain that we had, this beautiful mountain, is now just filled with holes. And, you know, if we look over here, you can see how some people try to turn those into something, but for the most part, there's just absolute destruction if you look around here. Like, if we drink a night vision potion to better be able to see down there, you can see how this center of the world, down below the spawn, has turned into pure anarchy, fighting chaos that you always see where, like, stacks of items are exchanged. Fights clearly were had down here. Welcome to Detroit. I think this is a bit nicer than Detroit sign. Bit rude of my you to compare my realm to that. But yeah, you can see how this realm went absolutely wild if people wanted to enjoy that, but that was very much kind of a side activity to the main realm. Same with all the little houses. There was a key, you know, there was a thing most people were focusing on most of the time, and that was kind of that. Also, this blows my mind how this survived the whole week, but the little thing here, the flag that was meant to originally be anarcho-monarchism, but is now just a little bit of monarchism with the tiniest bit of freedom. I mean, perfectly reflects what we're doing on this world. But like the fact that that survived a week is insane. Look at the terrain below it. There used to be like trees and there were real things down there. Now it's all gone, right? And yeah, also the other thing that's kind of sad that it's gone besides any piece of natural terrain is the village. There was a village here earlier this week, if you remember. There is no sign that there was any form of anything here before. But anyway, so, yeah, it's funny the kind of in-jokes, a lot of fun people have had on this server, and that leads me to believe this might have been the most successful ideology so far. Admittedly, we don't have villages. Admittedly, we don't have any form of natural terrain that makes sense. Although, wait, no way, this managed to survive, mostly. There's no mountain anymore, but there is a mountain pathway from top to bottom. I love that, you know, people seem to respect the things that they, you know, they seem to group things they don't respect, and they seem to respect the things that actually look great. The fact that that survived a week too, that's intense. I mean, people clearly just don't like villagers, they want to destroy them, and that's fine. But what they do like, is, and what they can respect, is they can respect nice houses. They can respect Toy Cat and then some hearts, although it's just Toy Cat now. What they can respect is this beautiful spawn area, and that's something I think is quite a delight. So yeah, overall, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is I genuinely think this is the most successful realm we've had in a very, very long time. And that just goes to show, sometimes contradicting, you know, there's a lot of contradictions in the world that you might think like, oh yeah, so there's just things that are the exact opposite, but sometimes things that seem like they contradict each other are the perfect recipe to combine. People can easily work out the flaws in a system if it's meant to make sense, but if your system doesn't make sense and people don't understand it anyway, then how are they gonna work their way around it? And the answer is they're not, and then you're gonna ban them, and then people who don't care about working their way around the rules can take their place instead. And that's what's happened here for the most part. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this week's realm video. If you want to see more of these, follow me on Twitter. I tweet out when there is a realm. Don't tweet me asking when it is, because I don't know until I tweet out the link. And yeah, the next one, I have a fun idea in mind already, personally. But yeah, I basically, these are realm videos I do like once every couple months or so on the channel. And I hope you all enjoyed this one, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. By the way, just in case you doubt the effectiveness that the banning and the resetting had, here's what happened 2 days after I ended the experiment. As you can see, it's all gone. It's not only gone and destroyed, but also things like these end portals have taken its place.